Now, could I wait until tomorrow to take this shelf down? Yeah, I probably could. And then make sure I bring the right bits from the garage at the house. And then I could do something else. I always got plenty to do, but because I'm right in the middle of it, it's not really going to take me that long to get these attachment screws out of my way. And so I want to do it today. I want to get this all cleaned up. And I want to get ready to paint. That was my goal today. This is in my way, and I'm going to finish my goal one way or the other today, no matter what. And on these shelves too, I'm going to save them. I might be able to use them along with the backing pieces and the other things along with this. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to have to get up here and show you my thoughts before I rip that stuff apart. Yeah, that's why I brought my construction light, because sometimes the light inside each bedroom isn't very bright. And if I'm working after dark, you got to get a construction light. That only set me back about 20 bucks, and that's a 500 watt. They also have a 300 watt and a 250, but you know, the 250 and 300 watt, sometimes you can get them for $10, $12, no more than like $15, but why not spend an extra $5 or so, $7 for a 500 watt light? And that's really worked out good for me. And by the way, if you ever do get a construction light, make sure you get the replacement bulbs. Get a 2-pack at the store. Sometimes they sell a 2-pack or a 3-pack. You're always going to need that, especially if you bump into that. If you unplug that real quick and leave the light on, there's a button on the back side to turn it off, but lots of times people will just have the extension cord or whatever, or they'll reach it on the floor and just jerk on it. Sometimes you do that and the light flickers, or if you bump that, or if it tips over, it can flicker and you think, my word, the light bulb's like only 2 weeks old and it's already burned out. Be ready for your project is all I got to say. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hey, that looks pretty good. The damage to the walls is to the minimum. And see, remember they only had one toggle up here, but for some reason they decided to screw two of them in there, but there was only one in the wood. They probably started off with that and figured, oh, the wood is too close to the end, you know, the backing piece, so they drilled another hole. And so I'll have to fill those up, and I lightly scraped off the caulking. And if you have shelves that you're taking out, you're going to repaint this wall just because you've scraped off the caulking. Here, let's just show this for a second. I just take a dull putty knife, and I went around here actually pretty good. And I'm feeling on there. I don't feel anything, but you know, if you paint that 99 out of 100 times, you paint that line, and I'll walk into your room and tell you exactly where you remove your shelves, because the caulking is in the nooks and crannies of your spray texture wall. Okay, and when you scrape off caulking, sometimes it scrapes off little bits of your sheetrock, your top surface. There's another little spot right there. Any of those imperfections, once you get done painting, you're going to see that. You're going to be like, well, I didn't think that was going to happen. So when I get ready to patch and do my caulking, I'll make a different video of that and show you the different things I come up with. And I like to just use caulking lots of times and blend it in. And I've got kind of a way to do that. And I'll show you that next time. Oh, that's the caulking. That's the caulking from the wall that I removed. And sometimes you can get it off in long pieces, and there was some on the back side of this trim when I took the trim off, and I cleaned that all up, and I've got all the nails, the little finish nails out of this stuff, And I took, on the back side of this, I took the finish nails out, and I'm gonna save this for the time being. I may have to rip it down for shelves because they cut these to fit. That one's like 19 inches, this one's 22 inches or so. And I'll mess with those later. See that 22, I could cut it right down the middle and have 2 shelves. And I told you I was gonna finish up this video and I was gonna show you why I'm saving those, and let's just take a quick look down in the garage. There's no way I'm putting anything in the garage, and I'll show you why. Actually, anything old, you know, I wouldn't really do that anyways. I wouldn't recommend it. Let's get this opened and unlocked. You see how small this garage is? And the only place where I'm going to be able to put some wood shelves is I may put a whole bank of shelves over there, but I'll use all brand new material for that because the car is only going to be parked up into here. So I mean we'll take. I'll figure out different things on how to put some storage in here. And unfortunately, here's the electrical panel right next to here. So you know, technically, you're not supposed to have anything in front of an electrical panel, or maybe 6 inches or to a foot on both sides of it. So when you stand here, you're not right up against the wall or something. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my shelves on this end. I may have to do something funky here, put a divider piece over. I have no idea. This video is not about that, but I'm just telling you, there's no way I'm going to use that old material out here and try to make some shelves. Forget that. Let me get back in here. So where else could I use those shelves? I got a couple little closet areas for different things, but see, this is where the stairs come down. There's a door here. Could I put some shelves in here? Yeah, I guess I could. See, they put one up there, and you could put a row down here. They have a cat door. See, they have a cat. Whoever was here last, they probably had a cat or maybe a little dog or something. They probably put the poop box in here, and then there's the hole for crawling underneath the roof, the floor. So I can't really put shelves back there to access that, which is kind of unfortunate. They probably, I mean, that's probably the best place where they should have put it. I mean, they could have put it right here by the door, and then you could have put shelves back in there and all that kind of stuff, and maximize your space, because nobody's going to put shelves right in here by the door. But then every time you open this door, you see that. So they decided to put it back there. So, you know, am I going to put some old shelves down in there? No. And even if I were to put shelves, I'll probably put the pre-finished wired shelving and do something like that and put a bank of shelves in somewhere. So I can't use that material there. Where else could I put it? This is such a small condo, and that's why, if you were watching the first part of this video, that's why I said in here, look at this. This is the master bedroom, and they put a one of those attic step ladders or ladders in here, and I'm going to pull that down and I'm going to show you in there, and I'm just going to keep the camera rolling here. I'm going to have to make some adjustments to this. I'll have to put a little string there, or not, or, you know, every time. Mommy was saying, hey, maybe we should put a handle on that with the string, you know how they have in the garage and stuff. But then you got to see that every time you come into the bedroom. It might be best just to leave that hook, and then actually I could have a pole with a eye hook at the end of it, put it in the closet or something, go in the closet, reach there, because that has a little hook there. They probably decided to do that years ago, and then you can just pull it down, you know, pull it down that way. And so I'm going to get you up here. This thing feels a little wonky because there's some hinges, some little swivelable hinges attaching the top side the back side, and right now I can see they're unclipped because every time you close this, it doesn't fit nicely up into the opening. It sticks out on the outside of the wall, so I'm gonna have to look at that. But I wanted to see, once I get it set right there, it's fine. I wanted to get you up there. Let's go up there. Okay. Let's get up there and see if we can't use those shelves up here, right? No sense throwing that stuff away if you can reuse it, huh? I could stay right here, but I'm gonna get all the way up here. Okay. Look at, see this little space right here came in the corner of the room. There's the water heater over there, and if you have a water heater up in a little area like this, it's best to make sure your framing is strong enough to support a water heater, because my word, you wouldn't want the water heater out in the middle or something. Water is heavy, and that's why they probably don't have a bigger water heater in here than they do. I don't know what this is, 65 gallon, maybe 60. And nice larger homes, lots of times they'll put like an 80 gallon water heater in there, but this is small. There's only a couple bedrooms, but you know, if you ever wanted to upgrade a water heater system in a condo, then you might want to think about an Insta-Hot type of water heater, but then you've got to make sure you've got enough electrical there and you've got the room for it, and you probably, you know, you should, wherever you take your water heater out, and then you can mount that on the wall. I have no idea how much those are, but see over here, I got to keep this area clear, and we got a nice little light switch here. It's always nice to have a switch up in a room like this. You have to do that wherever your heating system is, and there's a light there. They even put a pull chain on it. I don't know why they did that. They didn't have to do that in this particular one, but see, on this one, see, it's just one of those cheapies. This is probably $3 or $4, and it's plastic, shiny plastic. Years ago, they used to have those. They were porcelain, but nowadays they're heavy plastic. And see, there's an electrical outlet on there. That's kind of slick. This one, you can get them with the pull chain, or without the pull chain and just the body, or you can get one with the pull chain, the body, and an electrical outlet, or just an electrical outlet without the pull chain. So all kinds of stuff you can get at the store. And I was looking up here and see, this says future light. So if I wanted to put another light like that one right here, I could. See, here's the window. I don't know why. I have no idea why they put a window up in here, but that's nice during the day. I don't necessarily need as much light, but at night, if I wanted to come up here, let's say I wanted to come up here and work on a project or something on a counter. You know, that Formica countertop over there, I could cut it down and put it over here, couldn't I? Like a bench. I could even put a chair up here if I want. Pegboard up on top, the counter, the Formica top might be in here somewhere, going from there to there. I measured that other countertop, and it's plenty long. I'll just cut it off, have the finished edge over here, cut it up on that edge, and I could put a nice little bench there, couldn't I? And then for some additional storage shelves, I could take that white melamine shelving down there, and I could cut that one piece. It was 22 inches wide. I could cut that in half. There's two counters, 11 and a half, 11 and a half. The other one was 19. And maybe I could cut that to 11 and a half. So I've got three shelves, 11 and a half, 11 and a half, 11 and a half. And then I've got a 7 or 8 inch shelf, and maybe above here, where I have that Formica countertop, I could put that other Formica counter, or that shelf that I cut down, and I have about 7 inches left. I could put it right there, you know, just coming out as another little ledge, and still put pegboard, or if I didn't want pegboard, I don't have to. And look, this is all nicely set up, isn't it, for a little work area and storage. And so that's what I think I'm gonna do with those shelves.